smart book can.
Teacher.
Okay.
I know there is a lot that is wrong with the American education system, but none of it is the students. The students are amazing. They are kind. They are passionate. They are committed to social justice. They are going to change the world one day.
She has some clean poets are going to go.
And someday we will all look back and realize that one day was actually November 9th, 2016.
And then
see, I love teaching in an election year. As a U.S. history teacher, my ultimate goal is to create active citizens out of my students. And in this country, that means I want them to grow up to be informed voters.
Be flexible.
I know I did. I was raised to know that voting is a civic duty of democracy, and I work to impart that sense of duty to my students. This year, above all, they got it. Let me tell you how I know that. I do love teaching in an election year, but this year made me nervous. I teach young women, I teach queer students, I teach students of color, I teach Muslim students, I teach the diverse future of this great country. Teachers, we're expected to remain politically neutral in the classroom, and I struggled with that idea when presented with these two candidates and the threat to the emotional safety of my students was posed. There is nothing more important to me than to keep my students safe, to provide a safe space for them to be who they really are, to explore what that means, and to examine their own and each other's beliefs.
Who's left? Lena Taylor.
Doesn't mean discussions don't get contentious sometimes. Those conversations happen in an environment where students feel safe to express their opinions and even change their minds. That is why we created an election social contract with our class, a set of rules we would follow when discussing the election. It was a collaborative effort, and this is what they came up with. Set of rules to live
maybe we'll
by
use
in our
you,
classroom.
but not the AFT intro.
1. Be curious and open-minded. 2. Speak your mind truthfully.
Yeah.
3.
10 minutes,
Think
anyway.
critically and
Yeah.
explain
You have time to go to the bathroom. That's what you mean. Yeah, stay ready.
Listen to each other. 5. Respect each other. Disagree with each other. Stop being as hot with each other as people. 6. Be kind. 7.
As far as I know, you're not
Get
fired.
involved. Decisions are made by those who
And what we
show
can do,
up.
here's what we do.
Studying the election. We examined the issues by diving into the party platforms. We investigated the policy differences between the parties. The discussions were emotional and passionate, but also curious and open-minded and respectful, all in keeping with our social contract. I did my best to ask questions without inserting my opinions. But the day came when we had to move from policies to people and take a look at the candidates, not just the parties. I was about to bring Donald Trump into this safe space.
I know.
So I made a decision. I decided to follow my conscience as an active and informed citizen, and my duty as a teacher entrusted to her student safety. I decided to not remain neutral. I told my students I respected people's right to hold opinions different than my own. I told my students I respected many politicians from both sides of the aisle, and that their ideas deserved our curiosity, our open minds, and our healthy debate. And I followed our social contract and spoke my truth. I told them I was their teacher, and my #1 job was to keep them safe. And I told them that in all the anti-bullying training I had ever been taught, the most important lesson was to never be a bystander to bullying. And so I refused to be. I told my students that Donald Trump's behavior during this campaign was wrong, that it was bullying behavior. looking at the election itself through the lens of our classroom social contract, and so they did. And then November 8th came, and then November 9th, and I didn't know how to keep them safe anymore. I didn't know how to teach this. So I turned class over to my students. We talked. They felt bewildered, they felt sad and lost, they felt more than a little betrayed. And then something really special happened. We cried together. I had agonized over what to do all day, all night, all morning. I had written a best plan to process the election, but I wasn't sure how to do that in the face of their raw emotion. As we talked and the students cried together, I started cracking and
Poets on stage.
I told them a wise president once said, we must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. I told them President John F. Kennedy would want them to reach out and thank people. I told them that a lot of people were going to be hurting today. I told them it was a good day to think about expressing kindness, to think about gratitude. Who are you thankful for today? Who in your life would use the word of kindness? I told them, write them a letter telling them why you are grateful for them and thanking them for being in your life. And this is when the magic truly happened. You could have heard a pin drop. I asked them to be kind, to reach out, and they were, and they did. They wrote to their parents, to neighbors, to teachers, to friends, to mentors in the community, to family. But most touching of all, they wrote to each other. They reached out to classmates they saw hurting, classmates having an especially hard time, and they said, I'm here for you. And they were. The next 4 years are going to be tough, but we are going to have to make them full of speaking out and standing up and very strong activism. But first, we will have to make them full of kindness. That is how I am going to be an active citizen. I will speak out, I will stand up, and I will be kind. So, let's all take inspiration from some of the wisest people I know, the 13 and 14-year-olds in my classroom, and reach out to someone in kindness. Let's start today. Let's start now. There is so much still to be done, and we are the ones to do it.
Oh.